Hello and welcome to Efurd Garage Talks. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit the notification. Now, it's a little loud in here because I got a fan in here now and kind of need it. It's showing 87 degrees in here. Still a lot cooler than it is outside. So I'm going to do it here in the fan. Sorry if it bothers you. But this video, it's been a long time coming because I've been thinking about how to do it. There's a lot of disrespect in the car community and it's tearing apart the car community as a whole. And, well, I'm going to share my thoughts and feelings on it. Now, not everyone's going to agree with me, and that's okay. Because you have that right. But what I've seen lately is just shorts, reels, posts on Facebook, all that. And I feel like it's done on purpose. Now, why on purpose? There's one reason I know of. The other reasons I can't 100%. Just conspiracy theories. Maybe someone's trying to tear us apart on purpose. But one thing I know that is actually a fact is people like to post stuff that gets people riled up, that gets people constantly fighting each other online for the comments. Because it promotes their stuff. And really that's a bad thing, and we should not be feeding the trolls, so to speak, as the lingo goes. I'm not that kind of person. You'll never see me doing that on here. And my channel doesn't grow as well, but I feel better in my soul knowing I don't do that stuff. Now, recently, there's a reel made, and we'll get screenshots, so here we go. Someone posted, build a big block set of an LS, and it showed a four-wheel drive truck spinning the tires. Cool, whatever, you know. I like a big block Chevrolet. My personal opinion is I don't like the LS. A lot of people love it. That's fine. Whatever. They can love it. I won't LS swap my Pontiacs. But you know what I will do? Someone wants to LS swap their Pontiac? Go for it. Sell me your Pontiac engine cheap because you don't need it anymore. That's the kind of person I am. Anyway. So, one comment was, yeah, the big block, the original LS engine. Fair point. So, and this is where I'm going to get right before I get into this, is history. Car history is dying. And there's going to be other things. But this is example one of car history dying. Is, in the early 70s, we know the LS5 and LS6 454s were high performance 454 big blocks. It came out in Chevelles. Yes, we know this, okay? Not everybody knows this, and I'm aware of this, but I think it's becoming forgotten. So, someone said, no, there is never an LS big block. You're, okay, whatever, you know? So, I comment back, go, yeah, the LS5 and LS6 was originally the original LSs, because that's what GM designated those engines as. The designation code was LS5 and LS6. Which makes it an LS. Now, is it the same LS as today's Gen 5 small block? No, it's not the same engine. At all. But, of course, the person comes at me and attacks me by calling me names and all this stuff, which, that's the problem. Okay, I get it that the person didn't know this and doesn't understand car history, because we got a lot of people coming in to the car world. And I'm not going to say it's ruining the car world, but it is hurting it because they don't know the history of the car world. And it's not just young people, it's some of the older ones too, that come in that's never been in the cars before and they think they know it all. They don't know the history, so they just know what they know here when there's a lot of car history they don't know. And then you get some of these, some will listen, some get belligerent. So, you know, just the bashing and all that's what got me, and I'm just like, seriously. What makes an LS engine, like the Gen 5 small block, 97 to 2014, what makes it an LS? Oh, it's aluminum, small block, all that? No, what really makes it an LS is the fact that GM calls it an LS. They could have called it any name, and that's what it would have been. The 454s in the 70s that were LS5, LS6, there's also Super Duty, which was also an LS, the 455. Those also had a designation of an LS back in the 70s. Those were called LSs because that's what the code was in LS. And that's the whole point of that is that. Because also, in a way, this has also become a part of... It doesn't really seem that old to me, but for some people, they've never heard of this. Let's take, for example, and I mentioned this, the LT engine. I am aware that the original big blocks, you know, not the original, but the LS5, LS6 big block is nothing like the LS small block Gen 5 of today. We know that. There's no similarities. Same is true with the LT. Now, there's some people that are new to cars, they only know the modern LT of 2015 and up. That's all they know. Me, when I hear LT, the first thing I think of is the 80s and 90s LT small block Chevrolet, which has nothing in common with, what was that, Gen 6 LT modern stuff. But guess what? It still had the LT designation, RPO code from GM. That's an LT and that's an LT. It's just part of automotive history. And it's just, one is the attacking, two is the reels and the posts that are constantly making each other attack each other. So let's go on to more posts about making each other attack each other. And this is frustrating. This one where it's basically mocking carburetor guys. Look, that is an ignorant post. I'm not going to lie about it. That Facebook group that does that, they're ignorant, they're trolls, and they're trying to just attack people and make people comment. Because the thing is, carburetor fuel injection, who really cares? I am a carburetor guy. I still daily drive a carburetor. I can tune a carburetor. You know what I like about it? If I need to tune it, I got 9/16 to adjust my timing, and I got a screwdriver to set my carburetor. If I ever need to, but something like old school, set it and forget it. I'm done. Whatever. Tune it once, get it right, I don't have to tune it again. Simple, easy. Then you have the fuel injection guys that mock carburetor guys because, well, that's just because you're afraid of computers and all that and wiring. Look, I can wire a whole car. I'm not afraid of wiring. I'm more the fan of keep it simple. I want less. Keep it simple, keep it basic, less problems. More sensors, more problems, and I see that on modern vehicles. But you know what? If you want all that, that's fine. Same argument could be said about those laptop computer guys that mock the carburetor guys. They probably can't tune a carburetor or set timing. Or they have to have a computer to tell them what's wrong with their car, where other older school, you know, or people in the carburetors can listen and discover it by ear and figure out what's wrong. So there's two ways of doing it. That don't mean you mock each other over it. And that post was just directly to mock each other. Now, am I going to put fuel injection on my vehicles? No, I'm not. Because one, I like the cheaper, you know, carburetors over a EFI kit that costs a lot of money. I mean, that's just me. But if someone wants to put a modern EFI system on their old school, whatever, I don't care. Do it. You know, if it makes you feel better about your car, do it. I'm not going to do it. But, you know what, go ahead, do it. I've heard horror stories, and I've heard of people that love it. So, it's a toss-up. And you can say the same thing about carburetors. And that's also part of history that I feel like is being forgotten, is that whole thing about fuel injection is better in carburetors, is the fact that people don't know how to tune carburetors anymore. They don't. There's some people that just can't fix a car without the computer telling them what's wrong with them. They can't tune a carburetor, they can't set time. It's a learning curve. Me, as a millennial, I grew up in the era of fuel injection cars. One would think I would be more towards fuel injection. No, I like my carburetors. That's what it is. That's what my dad raised me on. I've worked on fuel injection cars. See some of the other videos I've worked on. I don't care for them. Not my thing. Not my cup of tea. And that's a great thing about cars, is there's so many brands. Now let me put it this way. If we all agreed on everything, we'd all be driving the exact same vehicle with the exact same wheels, exact same paint job, exact same everything. But we're all different. That's why all our vehicles look different. That's why we drive different makes and different models. It's because we're all different and we like what we like. Right? Fair point? I think so. So there's no reason to belittle each other over that. Just because, you know, it seems like social media wants us to, though. And that's not cool, you know. And I'm not opposed to friendly, you know, badgering back and forth. That's fine. And I'll say this, because of that all that, and there's other posts that they've done, which I'll get more into, is the people on the internet are probably the worst at doing this. Because I go to drag strips and I go to car shows. And I'm going to tell you something. The most friendliest people I meet are at the drag strip. They're having fun. And now, remember I did the Pontiac Tourist video, y'all remember that? The Pontiac Nationals. You have people with Pontiacs everywhere, right? All over the place. Fields full of Pontiacs. Just the whole pit full of Pontiacs. Not all of them have Pontiac power. A lot of them have Pontiac power. Some have small block Chevy, some have big block Chevy, some have LS's. But you know what? They're all out there together having a great time. But then you get these people on the internet that just mock and badger everybody. I don't think they ever go to those events. I think they're just sitting at home on keyboard warriors, and they probably, those people that are badgering other people probably just don't know how to build a car, probably, I guess. I mean, the ones I see building the cars are out there enjoying them. Which leads me to some other things about the car community, is the baby boomers. Now, you think I'm going to open a can of worms here, because I'm a millennial. And apparently, millennials don't like baby boomers, but let me tell you the truth here. My dad was a baby boomer. And I have several baby boomer friends still that I've known for a long time. And the way people belittle them on the internet really bothers me. And let me tell you why. And I've seen it, of course, online, going after the baby boomers at car shows and the baby boomers at drag races, because they're like, they're gatekeepers. They don't know what they're talking about. None of them know anything what they're talking about. You know, and all this. So let's go on this long list here. Let me tell you something. There's two types of baby boomers in the car world, okay? The first one is like my dad. The second one is, let me just go full detail. The second one. The second one grew up around the time of the muscle car and the pony car era. And I'm going to explain that one later in the history, forgotten history, because I'm going to do more. Everything's rambled up right now, and you know, I'm just ranting and getting all this off my mind. The baby boomers that grew up in the muscle car and pony car era, the gas crisis, all that, there's two different kinds. The second kind, the kind not like my dad, were the kind that, and back in the day, guess what? Muscle cars and pony cars and all that were GTOs, Chevelles, Mustangs, Camaros, all that. Those are daily drivers, by the way. Let's keep that in mind. They drove those cars daily, and they lived their life. Whatever, right? Some of them got a new one bought for them, and, you know, they lived their life. Now that they've gotten older, they want to relive their youth. Buy this old car, keep it original, and complain that if you don't keep it original, then you ruin the car and all that. Okay. They go to the car show, they call them the lawn chair warriors and all that. They refuse to drive their car in the rain, they refuse to park it outside, all that stuff, even though they were made to be driven. Okay, I get that. You know, because, oh, you ruined that. Because they tell you that you ruined the car that you built. Okay, I do kind of understand the frustration with those people. because they're trying to relive their youth and all that. But there's the other kind, like my dad and like his buddies and all that. These kind never bought a new car, they bought used cars. And back then, the heyday and the muscle cars, and my dad would say this all the time, we didn't care about those cars because we could just go to salvage yard, get another one, who cared? We would sit there and cut them apart, hot rod them out, go race them through a field and tear them up. And I'm sure a lot of people, oh, that's why they're not around anymore. Because back then, to them, those GTOs, Chevelles, Mustangs, Camaros, all that, were just like the Camaros and Challengers and Mustangs today that's sitting tons of them on the car lot. That's all they were back then. But they changed out the wheels. They did perform what they could perform because there wasn't a lot of aftermarket back then. And they hot rodded them. They enjoyed the car. They drove them every day. And those people, they still, those baby boomers that are still alive, still, those kinds, still drag race cars, still build those old hot rods and muscle cars like they did back in the day, still look at performance. They don't really care about the all original stuff on it, which is fine, because my dad always said, if you're not going to drive the car, why even have it? So, you know, like the Trailer Queens and all that, if you're not going to drive it, why have it? He drove his every day until 2014, till he passed. Every day he drove a GTO. That was his daily driver. Why? Because he didn't want anything else. It didn't matter. I remember a kid, it's snowing and raining and everything, driving the GTO in it. Because that's what they were built for. So you have those two types. And granted, everyone tries to hype up on the other one and it makes all baby boomers sound bad when they're not. You just have a select few that may be bad, and you're making, and they're trashing all of them, which is not fair because there's a lot of cool ones out there. Like I said, I guarantee you there's a lot of baby boomers that still do sick week and have fun. I can't blame those guys. Those guys are great. And you know, another thing about it is, they want to down talk, oh, baby boomers don't know what they're talking about because their cars only made 200-something horsepower and all that crap. So let's get some stuff straight here. In the 60s, yeah, 327s putting out 350 horsepower. So you didn't get that 200 horsepower 350 till later in the late 70s and 80s with the emissions crap, and that's no one's fault other than the government's. Right? But yeah, no, those cars, 400 out of a GTO, 366 horse, 360 horse. You know, if you had the HO or not, whatever, you know. And a lot of those were underrated, let's be honest. They were underrated. Some of those put out more power than they let out. You know, like the 425 horsepower, the 425 or 450? 454, you know. Quite a bit of power. 396, 360 horse. A lot of those numbers are lied because they were told that you can't have, in the early days of the 60s, you can't have more cubic inch than 1 cubic inch per 10 pounds. So 3,200 pound car could only have technically around a 320 cubic inch. Later 60s it was 1 horsepower per 10 pounds. So 68 GTO weighed 3,600 pounds. It's not supposed to have more than 360 horsepower-ish. So they fudged their numbers, you know, all that good stuff. Like the 67 Firebird, this is part of history. They didn't want to develop a new engine for it, so they bent the rod on the quadrojet so it didn't open all the way up, so it only hit 320 horsepower. Hey, look, we kept it in the limits, and the people that knew better unbent it, and they had 360 horsepower. Stuff like that happened. But the people mocking the boomers because, oh, well, your car was slow because it ran 14s or 15s or whatever. Those cars are faster than the people give them credit for, because back then, let me tell you this. Back then, you had those bi-ply junky small tires with like a 235 on the back. That's small. Or a 205 even sometimes. Small tire. That bi-ply tire would light up. You would spin into the 14s sometimes, you know? So if you were to take a 235 bi-ply tire and put it on one of these new Mustangs, Camaros, Challengers, whatever, then take the traction control off. It ain't going to go nowhere. It's going to sit and spin when you're trying to take it down the drag strip. You're not going to get no traction. You're going to lose it all spinning, and you're going to run horrible numbers. And a lot of people don't realize that. Don't think about that. Instead, they'd rather just be little because they don't understand. But, you know, that's the thing. Like I said, mocking the baby boomers is dumb to me. They've done a lot. I mean, when you think about it, they were alive, and some of them were teens during the muscle car era. They watched it. My dad, in the late 60s, my dad was 18 years old in 1969. He saw all the muscle car, the pony car stuff. He watched it. And a lot of people around his age watched it. And they were influenced by it. And what did they do? Later on, some of those, guess what? Improved upon things. So the big one here is there's some people in the modern world who probably really love LS engines. And they like to put down baby boomers. And baby boomers don't understand anything about an LS. And those old people don't know anything about an LS. Because LS is way over the head. They don't like LS. They like their old school stuff because, you know, this, that, and... Who came up with the LS engine? Who did? Probably a guy named Ed and a guy named Tom who started working in GM in 1969. That tell you anything about their age? So, sit there and mock baby boomers because they don't know anything about cars. Oh, they don't know anything about engines. They don't understand the LS. They're afraid of the wiring and everything. And yet, who came up with the LS? The whole thing, this car community can be better. And the internet has brought out the worst in some and brought out some of the worst people. Like I said, you go to a car show and you go to a drag race, you meet some of the nicest people. And I hope you liked this video. And sorry I ran so long, and if you made it to the end, thank you very much. Because I know probably a lot of people didn't, but you know, hey, thanks. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching.